I just came back from a therapy session, and like a lot of therapy sessions, they are very enlightening. And the main thing that we spoke about today was my obsessive tendencies. And it's something that I've been pretty aware of for a long time. Like it kind of rules the structure of my life. But I think it's something that I've become more and more aware of recently. And I think it's been quite enlightening as to like how I've spent my life. I've always been someone who's been so all or nothing. Like, I go through eras, and in that era, something will be my absolute everything, and then in the next era, it won't even be part of it at all. And I'm really not diagnosing myself with a certain personality disorder or anything like this here. I think this is just my approach to things generally, and in a lot of ways, I think I've always viewed it as my superpower, but I'm now realizing that it's actually kind of holding me back from just living an actual life and enjoying myself. I feel like, especially when you're a kid, like you go through a lot of obsessive eras where you're really, really into something and they can become quite like shaping of who you are as a person. But I do think that it began for me when I moved to the UK. So I moved to the UK when I was 9, and it was a very overwhelming experience. And I went from being in this very comfortable place in my little like Steiner school in Norway to being in this very overwhelming South London school environment where I was the foreigner, and then I quickly became the queer kid, as I realized. And I think that because of that, escape and control became very, very important to me. I think that my obsessiveness began when I got my iPod Touch when I was probably like 11, and I spent all of my time on YouTube or playing iPhone games, and it completely took over my whole entire life. Then I got really, really, really into Minecraft, and all I did was play Minecraft. And then I got a 3DS when I was 14, and all I did for like 2 years was play 3DS. Then I spent like a year only watching Drag Race. And to be honest with you, I've only ever really watched Drag Race as a TV show. Obviously, there's loads of TV shows that I've watched, but I wouldn't say that I'm like a reality TV fan or like I'm really into films or that kind of thing. It's like there are a few series that I've watched, and that's been my entire life. Then when I was like 18, I got really, really into the gym, and it became my main personality. Then I went to Art Foundation, and all I did was work for like a year. Then since then, I've had obsessions with substances, I've had obsessions with boyfriends, I've had obsessions with work again. And I do think that my most recent one was the summer that I just had when I got really insanely obsessed with making clothes, making fashion, making social media content. This is where I say that I think it's my superpower sometimes, in the way that when I'm obsessed with something, I get such tunnel vision that nothing else outside of it exists. That thing becomes my life, and in those states, I am able to achieve really crazy things, both personally, but also like, I guess more like socially or career-wise able to achieve things, because I get so insanely stimulated by them. But the problem is that it's not like a genuine interest that I often form with these things. Like, that's not what's driving me. What's driving me is obsession and adrenaline, and often like feeling like I need to do this thing to be able to exist. I think that's where so much of my obsession comes from. It's like, it feels like my life has to revolve around this thing. And if it doesn't, I shouldn't be doing it, or it doesn't make sense to be doing it, or my life is falling apart. Often what I find after my obsessive eras, I go through really, really, really existential eras when I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know what my life's about, I don't know if any of this is worth it, I feel like I'm a complete failure. And I do get that like life is very much like ups and downs, and I think actually like a lot of people go through this, and that's part of why I'm making this video, because I feel like there are going to be other people who can really, really relate to this. But my problem is that like, I have a lot of interests, and I love being someone who has lots and lots of interests, but my problem with it is that my interests aren't things that I like dip in and out of on a casual basis. It's like, oh, I'm really, really interested in Star Wars because I've had like 2-3 eras in my life where I did absolutely nothing but watch and read up on Star Wars for like a few months at a time. I think my most recent Star Wars era was probably like a few years ago. I got really, really into Star Wars again, and it was like 3 months of just watching the Clone Wars. It takes over everything. Social media, my art, my practice, all of that kind of stuff. And then now I haven't watched Star Wars in like 2 years, even though I still love it. And it's like, why does it have to be so all or nothing? But I mean, enough about tangenting about Star Wars. I think the place where it's beginning to become a problem now is that I realize that I really struggle to do things or feel motivated to do things unless I am absolutely and utterly like consumed by them. I've been very, very lucky to have been able to build this career for myself where I make looks for people, and I get to make some social media content, and I get to be creative as my job. But what I've really been struggling with recently is I'm not as consumed and obsessed by this as I once was. And therefore, I constantly am like, is this really what I want to do? Is this really the right thing for me? And everything in my body is kind of just telling me to jump ship, even though this is what I want to do. And I think I'm struggling with it because I'm like, oh, I should want to do nothing but this, you know? If this is what I'm into, I should be doing this 24 hours a day. I shouldn't want to take breaks. I shouldn't be taking breaks because that's genuinely how I've operated for so long. I've not taken breaks because I've only done one thing that I've been insanely obsessed with for so long. And honestly, I do think it's been a bit of like a survival mechanism and a bit of a coping mechanism. I think it's been to deal with the fact that like I felt so different from people and I was gay and like all the trauma that comes with that and then all the like trauma of like I guess like the different life experiences that I've gone through, which I guess is like what addiction is generally, right? Addiction is like a shield or a coping mechanism to not have to face the things that you're feeling. And honestly, I think I was addicted to being obsessed. Like, I don't think that I've ever been someone to be like super specifically addicted to one thing and like I've had one substance or like one thing that's been my big problem. My problem is just that like I live in such a way where I get such tunnel vision that I don't have anything else going on around me. And it makes me kind of sad to think about it because I've spent a lot of time like looking back at eras of my life and I felt sad that I've not really been able to just like live my life and really be in the moment and really kind of enjoy all of the things that were going on at that time because all I could think about was, I don't know, the relationship I was in at that point or the work that I was making at that point or the specific console I was playing at that point or what fucking season of Drag Race it was that was coming out at that time. And that's something that I'm really, really trying to work on more now, you know? I want to be able to do these things at a balance. Like, I've just come out of a sober era. Actually, not that recently. I stopped being sober in January, but I was sober from August to January. And the reason that I stopped being sober was because I realized that it was taking over my life. I was obsessed with being sober. And I didn't even need to be sober. It wasn't like I had huge addictions to substances. But it was like, I almost got as addicted to being sober as I did to not being sober. And I'm not at all saying that this is every sober person's experience. This was just mine. It became a problem that I was sober because it was on my mind all the time. And this like self-improvement and self-betterment was on my mind all the time and thinking about how I was going to operate in social situations, and it made me so not present. And for this last, like, kind of since then, to be honest with you, I've been going through this era where I'm like, see, this is my thing of like thinking about fucking eras again. I don't need to be thinking about eras or like what this current era of my life looks like, but I've definitely been thinking a lot about like, oh, I feel like I've lost my spark. I feel like I'm not as driven as I used to be. I don't really know what I want to do with myself. I feel like I've always had like such strong spark and ambition and like knowing what the next step is. And I actually kind of think it's just like for the first time, almost ever, I'm not driven by obsession and desperation and this insane tunnel vision. And to be honest with you, I think a past version of me would look at this and think, oh, that's a shame. You've kind of flopped here. You're not doing that much. You're not doing the thing. Like, what makes you special, you're not really tapping into. But the thing about it is that I guess I'm beginning to feel at peace in a way that I've never felt before. I'm losing a lot of my perfectionism, which feels wonderful. And I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to just like be in the moment and enjoy myself a bit more. Balance is the new era. I've been wanting to recently get back into being more sociable. I used to be the sociable diva and I'd be at the club all the time and I'd be seeing my friends all the time, and this last 6 months has not been the most sociable 6 months of my life, which is fine. I had a very sociable last summer and it's also been winter. But my mindset has been, oh, I need to have another party era where partying is my life. I don't need to have another party era. I can just spend more time with my friends, as well as spending time doing work, as well as spending time doing healthy things, as well as spending time playing video games. It's not like I have to play video games for 40 hours a week to play video games. I can play them for an hour a day, 4 days a week, and actually just enjoy that, rather than be like desperately consumed by that. Even to like play the fucking video game example once again. When I got Animal Crossing New Leaf on my 3DS, I pumped about 200 hours into that game in the first year of having it. I was so obsessed. Actually, way more than 200 hours in the first year. Probably like 500 hours in the first year. I was playing it for multiple hours a day. I was so obsessed with that game. And when New Horizons came out on the Switch, I played it for about 15 hours and I wasn't obsessed with it, so I just stopped playing it. I've started playing it again on my Switch too, and it's like, it's a nice game. It's really cute. I am a bit more consumed by Pokopia, which is fantastic. And I do think a past version of me would do nothing but play Pokopia, but I'm kind of enjoying it being this thing that I can kind of jump in and out of. But I guess it kind of goes to show this thing of like, if you compare New Leaf to New Horizons, one I was so obsessed with and one I wasn't obsessed with, and therefore I didn't play it all the time. But actually, I could have just enjoyed it and played it here and there rather than been like, I'm either going to play it or I'm not going to play it. Moral of the story is balance. It's a moral and a lesson and a story that I've not learnt yet, but I think I'm in the process of learning it, and that feels nice. I have this kind of ongoing trend in my life where I have really good summers and then I have really bad summers, and even though last summer was a spectacular event and a spectacular moment, I spent a lot of time being very anxious and very obsessed and very full of adrenaline, and I really hope that the summer coming now, I can just enjoy myself and just be present and be in the moment. And I think I'm a bit scared, to be honest with you. I'm a bit scared what work's gonna look like if I'm not in it 150% all the time. Because also the thing with it is that I know it's not sustainable. Like, I needed to take like 2 months off in autumn because summer had been too intense. You know, I know that those things happen. So I am a bit worried to see like, what will my interests look like? What will my life look like? But maybe it's just a thing of like, I'll see my friends a few times a week. I'll go to the club once a week or maybe once every 2 weeks. I'll play a few hours of video games throughout the week. I'll work 5 days a week and take evenings off, and I'll go to the gym 4 days a week, 3 days a week, and I'll eat relatively healthily. I'll still have my Morleys. I'll still have my 4 wings and chips and burger sauce. Just not every day or not at all, you know? I thought that the Morleys and the 4 wings and chips and burger sauce was a great point to end this video on. However, I do need to do the YouTubery thing of like, if you want to come hang out again, please subscribe, turn on the notification bell, comment and like. I think those are all the things that I need to tell you to do. If you don't. I hope you enjoyed coming and sitting with me today, and hopefully I'll see you again soon.